Return to Glory podcast, bye-week edition. Hunter's Arm, Nikki, Austin, Rose, Dakota Free Tag. I just had to scowl at Austin's shirt.
It was free.
I don't care.
It's a really nice shirt.
He's wearing the baby blue Creighton Blue Jays shirt. We might just have to you might have to just go black here this whole time.
Are you a Blue Jays basketball fan?
No, God, no. I golfed in their employee rec league.
Okay, it makes sense.
I guess if you participate, you get a free shirt.
Yeah. Bye week, and we're starting off with Creighton Blue Jay talk.
You started it.
No, I did not start nothing. You're the one wearing the shirt.
I'm wearing the shirt, but I didn't say anything about it. Someone asked me tonight, you watching the game tonight? And I was like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, when you first came on, I thought that was a Royal shirt.
There you go. Royals blue.
Yep, there we go.
And they just lost.
Thanks, Dak. Well.
Hey, my Mets, though, going to the ALCS.
There you
Thank
go.
God.
I will say.
Those Philly scumbags can go home.
Not a big Mets fan, but enough that I'll follow them along in the postseason if they make it, which they usually don't.
You're big enough that if they're like, hey, pick a team for Hunter, I would have said Mets. So
there you go. You would have known.
I don't care if anybody watches a single MLB game. The regular season sucks. The postseason is the best. You can claim whatever team you want during the playoffs.
It's true. No, there's no reason to watch before October.
No.
Poor baseball. Okay. It is bye week, clearly. Nebraska's 5-1 heading into their first bye week. No matter how we got here, we are here. And we have a couple of things we're going to do here the next few episodes. First, we're going to give out some mid-season awards. We are also halfway through the season. And because society just loves awards and everybody gets an award, we're going to have a little mid-season award show today. And then we'll talk some Nebraska basketball in our next episode, as that's coming up here right before we know it, coming off a tourney berth, not a tourney win, but hopefully a tourney win in the future. Guys, first question, bye week. What is the purpose of a bye week? What should we be focused on? I know it's a very generic question, but Nebraska has an opportunity to make a bowl game for the first time in several years. And we are one game away. Last year, we were 5-3 at one point. I can't remember what we were heading into our first bye week, but here we are 5-1. I would say there's games in our schedule that we should feel confident we can make a bowl game and then add to that total. But we have an extra week here. What should the focus be for the team this week, Austin?
I mean, the obvious one is just health. Get yourself healthy. You get an extra week of practice and a little bit more rest. I mean, you get a little extra preparation time for Indiana, but, is that really going to benefit you that much more? I don't know if that part's accurate, but it's probably mostly just getting health, and then you get a little extra time in practice to get reps on those things that you're kind of need to tweak a little bit. So kicking field goals, you get an extra week of that. Outside of that, I think it's, definitely just downtime. Get yourself right.
Yeah, that was mine. Definitely special teams. You got to figure out what you're going to do there. Like, you've got 2 weeks to figure out if you can kick the ball at all and what you're going to do from that point. And then, besides that, get healthy and basically just normal practice. Like, it's kind of like spring ball a little bit.
Right. The machine's in motion at this point. You can only tweak it so much.
There's one position that you need to fix, and you got to fix it during these 2 weeks if you can.
Well, it does sound like Alvano is going to see how things go. So he might come back and, I guess, maybe help us in that category. Here's my thought on these couple of weeks. Yes, obviously getting healthy is important. Good news is I don't know that we're too banged up across the board as far as injuries that are more short-term. We obviously know some of the longer-term injuries that have already occurred, but, guys like Javon Wright, who has played the past couple of weeks a little more minutes, he was a guy coming into this year, I think that everybody had pretty high, if not at the top of that linebacking core. And he now has a chance to come back. Tommy Hill, the other one, dealing with that plantar fasciitis.
Murray Butler's had something going on every week. Bushini.
So there's little things like that that I think, yes, that can focus on. But here's the thing. This Indiana game is going to be it's going to be huge. And
Big noon kickoff.
I don't know coming into the year if we exactly saw this coming, but I do think we knew that our schedule was favorable and that Indiana's schedule was probably favorable. We maybe didn't think that they were that good.
The consensus of this pod was definitely Indiana's going to be shit.
Yes. So
Definitely remember that.
I don't think anybody said they'd be good.
I still don't, and we'll get to Indiana. I just still don't know exactly how good they are. I mean, you look at their schedule, it's hard to tell, right? And Northwestern, that game was 17. It really wasn't when you actually looked at what happened in the game. It'll be interesting. It's a big game, and I'm glad it's a big game. I'm glad they're ranked. I'm glad we're not. And both teams get an extra week to prepare. So in my mind, yes, getting rest and healthy, that should be kind of the focus here. I mean, I would say up until today, but I think we really need to use the extra time to start doing Indiana stuff, and not to the point that we're necessarily getting out of our quote unquote routine, but we need to start installing things that they do, especially I would say on the defensive end, to get ready for this offense is averaging over 40 points a game. And I think that should be starting now. I do think there's a little bit to say with, the game week prep. And I think coaches and the media like to make that a bigger deal than it really is in the routine and this on Sunday, this on Monday, this on Tuesday. I get there's a part of routine, but I don't think that matters that much to college kids. I really don't in the grand scheme of things. So, I mean, I think you take the advantage of the time that you have and do that. Now, I don't know what we're doing. I have no idea, but that's my consensus on it is, yeah, rest up, but at the same time, hit it hard here. I mean, kind of starting now with the guys that can hit it hard, and let's have a good physical week of practice this week.
Would you rather have the physical week this week and a little more rest the next week, or you'd rather have it reversed where you ran?
I mean, I know this is probably not the right answer, but I'd say both. Like I like physical. I think you should be doing that. And yeah, that might come at a little bit of sacrifice of injuries, but I think in the long run, that pays off more often than not from a mentality and physicality standpoint. That might just be old school football me talking. I'm sure trainers and everybody like that has different facts and data to back that up. That might not be the smartest idea, but I think we need to keep hitting it hard and have that right mindset and mentality, because this game is going to be a huge one in a week and a half.
Yeah, big noon kickoff. It's Joel Klatt's all excited about Indiana being undefeated, going up against Ohio State at some point in the Big Ten championship. So
you just don't want to lose all your momentum, which easily could happen these next two games. The momentum you built, you don't want to lose that all now.
Because our momentum's not, it doesn't feel like we have a big momentum. We definitely have momentum, but it doesn't feel like this unstoppable force. Like, it definitely feels very, very trippable.
Yeah, you don't want to get killed though these next two games. The next one after, like, if you get killed, you get killed. This Indiana one, you don't want to get absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, Dak, you're speaking. I mean, I don't think we're getting slaughtered by Indiana. I don't know.
Last night you said no shot, you win.
What?
Last night you said no shot, you win that game.
Which game?
Indiana.
You do realize why I said that, because I'm going to the game. I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any other reason besides the fact that I'm going
Okay.
to the game.
I forgot you were
Now
going
I
to
get
this
it.
game.
Okay.
That's why we have no shot at winning, is because I'm going.
No.
Oh, okay.
You went to a winning road game last year, didn't you?
No. I have a 2017 Purdue and a 2019 Illinois, and that is it.
I remember really well what game you went to last year that you lost. Lost some money on it, Michigan State.
Yes, we did. So, yeah, I guess to me, we won't know, I guess, but let's get focused on Indiana. I think now podcast wise, we're not going to do that. We're going to take a little break. We're also going to take a break Saturday and enjoy some really good football games. Dak, is there one in particular you're interested in?
Yep, 2:30 ABC, Red River S out. You can't say shootout anymore. The Red River rivalry.
I thought you were going to say Army versus UAB, but yeah, that
No.
one.
God, I can't wait for that one. Well, a little surprised at the end of the podcast for that one.
All right. Well, let's get to our award show here. Here's how this is going to work. We have, how many is that? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 awards to give out. We have an elite and a platinum award here at the top. We're going to put elite above platinum. I don't know if that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
All three of us have to mutually agree upon those two. We're each going to give our nominations, and then we'll see who can be swayed there. Gold, we're going to give out 3. Each of us are going to give out one of those. Silver, we're going to give out 3, and then we're each going to mutually agree upon one more. So 4 silver and then 5 bronze. These are all awards. Just so everybody knows, we had the conversation. Dak was giving out bronze awards as a punishment. So he was
Everyone knows if you get a
people.
bronze in the Olympics, it's bad.
It's bad. And he uses, so I don't understand that logic at all. But
Still using it as a punishment.
You did message in our group chat the worst, and I thought he meant as an additional award, more of like a superlative, but now I see Red Dak's interpretation.
Well, and we can give a worse award if we want. I think there's a pretty obvious answer for that, but we'll see if we have time for that at the end. So let's just do this from the top. And I will tell you guys, I'm going to go first, but I will have the ability to be swayed here for this first one. And there's reasoning behind I don't have what I have, but I think the one that's most deserving. Okay, hold on. Build the suspension up. Take a step back. I am doing this based on what I expected like in August before the season started. Here's what I expected out of our team. And here's where we're at now. And here's where the players are at, the unit, the coaches, the group of players, however you want to group them up or individually award them, you can do it that way. There's no specific way of doing it. That's how I'm viewing it. There could be different ways of viewing it. You could be comparing to last year. You could be comparing over the last couple of weeks, but I'm doing it from, first 6 games compared to what I expected before the year. So with that being said, my nomination is the front. I'm going to call it 6 to 8 on the defensive side of the ball. That consists of our D-line and our interior linebackers. I think this is a little bit of fresh from the Rutgers game on how well they played. My only hesitant, and there should not be a hesitance, right, with your top nomination, was they were kind of the reason why we lost the Illinois game. Okay. So that's why I can be swayed. But that was my nomination for the elite because they are also the reason why we've won some of the games that we've won. Purdue, Rutgers, Colorado. Colorado could not get anything going up front, and the pressure that we got on Shedeur Sanders. So
giving up 0 rushing TDs.
0. Yes, there's a lot of reasons I think that this front 7, 6 to 8, however many you want to put in that bucket, deserve this award.
Okay.
Austin?
It's not a bad one. So I will ask for some input on what the technical, it's a group.
Do what you want to do.
Okay, so I said the 2024 recruiting class. Is that fair? Or it should be the recruiting staff? Because, you start to run through, here are transfers for this year, just the transfers. You've got Sire Wright, Stephon Thompson, Micah Muskua, Jamal Banks, Dante Dowdo, Isaiah Nayor, and Bly Hill, which would probably be getting some serious playtime if he wasn't hurt. But the rest of them are all very active.
Mm-hmm.
Who is not hurt. And then you run through the freshman class. You have Dylan Rayola, Carter Nelson, Ja'Cory Blarney, Willis McGahee's had some good reps.
I like that one. I didn't
think about that.
Into it.
So I didn't know if I wanted it to do it as the recruiting people who brought them in, or if it was as the class itself. But I'll probably stick with the class at this point. Kind of feels cheating.
Let's call them the newcomers.
The newcomers.
Because
That's
the recruiting class, I don't to me include the transfer class in that for whatever reason. So for this sake, let's call it the newcomers.
Yeah, you run through it, and more than half of our starters are probably new this year, or I should say, impact players.
Dak?
I'm giving it to Tony White because of his game plan against Colorado and Rutgers, especially. He just completely shut down both those teams. And you look at when Colorado's played other teams, their offenses look great now after you guys played them. And the Rutgers, I wouldn't say great, but they looked like a pretty decent offense. Really shut down the whole game plan against those teams. Now, like you said, the Illinois game, that throws a little wrench in it. So I don't know. That's what I would give it to is Tony White, just because those two games right there. The biggest game of your year, he completely shut down Colorado's offense and everything they wanted to do.
Gosh, so that one correlates with mine, right?
Yep.
I like Austin's.
I didn't even think about.
I'm trying to think if we're too broad there, or if we can just encompass. I think we can encompass it all. I like that.
I feel, that's where I was like, I don't know if it's a proper grouping. That's
and
why,
here,
like,
so, my only hesitance, but I don't think it's justifiable here, is maybe that's just college football now in general with the transfer portal. Now, obviously, our freshmen are impacting in a completely different way. Two of those freshmen have been named to the I don't even know what the list is. I saw something online. Raiola and Barney,
all American freshman team
or something. Whichever site put that out there. I don't know. I'm good with going to newcomers.
Three of our top four receivers are new. Our top running back is new. Our quarterback is obviously new. One of our, Sire Wright has the second most turnovers on the defense, something like that, maybe third most.
We might get some crap for that being like a cop-out answer, maybe, but
I mean, like I said, you could do recruiting staff, maybe talent evaluators. Maybe.
We'll leave the newcomers. I like that as a group. I like it as a unit because I had defense on here as one of mine for something later, but okay, let's do that. So elite award winner, the 2024 newcomers to the team, and I will just say they have made a huge difference on both ends of the ball. From a team last year that I think we were obviously starting a new rebuild with a big talent disparity from some of these other teams from what we have now. So I like it. Okay, platinum, right below that.
I had White.
We can go defense. My other person I had right here is Dylan Raiola.
Yep, I had him short list too.
If we're gonna go newcomers and stick pretty broad there, I don't know. I'm gonna argue for pushing for an individual player here versus a unit.
Okay, I would push for Tony White then, personally. Dylan Raiola has looked really good, and obviously he's been a big difference in this year's team. But I don't know if his play on the field has been. He hasn't lost his games. I don't know if he's been in a position.
How many has he won you?
Yeah, I don't know if he's been in a position where he has had to win us a game.
So my thought is Raiola has, just from a simple not turning the ball over standpoint, has done a lot. Why I didn't want to put him at the top one is that I didn't want to award him too much already type of deal. Like my expectations going into the year, and some people have said that they think he is going unhuman and all this stuff. Well, I think that also is part of based on what we had last year. So if you're comparing it to our quarterback play last year, Dylan Raiola would be the elite award winner in a heartbeat. Like,
right,
it's completely different.
If you compare him to an average quarterback, he's definitely better. But is he better than? I mean, if you were considering Tony,
Dylan Raiola is a top 3 to 5 quarterback in the Big Ten. There's no doubt about that. Is he the clear-cut number 1 right now? No. If he were to get the elite award, already, we would be arguing the case that he would be a 1-2. And maybe that is because he doesn't have the talent around him yet to be able to do that. He's doing what he needs to do. And this is what I thought he would do, and maybe a little bit better. I'm not going to say he's underperformed. He's done better, but he's definitely a player like that has changed the entire scope of the program. But there's a lot more to come. It's not like he's changed it all right now. Now we hope that what he's done now has started that and we're moving in that direction, but we're not there yet.
If you compare it to last year, he wins every award on this list.
Yes. So
Except
that's the whole argument here.
Yeah, not the Browns.
he's not at that level based on what we thought coming into the year. In August, we thought Dylan Raiola was going to be good. We're like, he's going to improve us a ton. Obviously couldn't get worse, but all we heard was, these quarterbacks are getting better. We didn't know who the starter was going to be. Everybody just assumed it was Dylan. It was Dylan. He comes out, does some pretty neat things, right? Good plays. He could be elite. Like,
he looks, don't get me wrong, he looks really good. I just don't know if he's, like I said, you run through the teams, 3 of our wins, Heinrich Harburg probably wins those games too.
Now, I'm not going to go that far.
I would.
He
won those games.
He fully exceeded your guys' expectations, or is he like what you expect coming in the year?
He's exceeded my
expectations.
Okay. That's what I kind of just said. Yes, he's exceeded him, but he hasn't blown him away, type of deal.
Yeah, that's where I'm leaning. He's definitely doing better than I thought, just not like greatly better.
He has the ability to blow him away. I think that's we know we've seen it in him and the things he can do. Like we know
last week's game.
That's my argument is the Purdue game was 0-0 through the first half. We beat Rutgers 0-14. It wasn't like our offense was obliterating them.
So we're spending less time talking about more time talking about Dylan Raiola and less time talking about Tony White. I agree, Dak, with what you said on the adjustments, or maybe it was Austin. You guys said about the adjustments.
Yeah, hold up. I haven't even said mine yet.
Oh shit. It's different. What's
all
yours?
right? Buschini.
Okay, let's pause that. I know where you're gonna go, but let's save that discussion. I don't think you're not gonna convince me to put him here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's either gonna be Tony White, considering you had him for your top award. I think we just stick with Tony White. And credit to him for what he's done. And the argument here is same with the defense, is that the one game we lost, it kind of was our defense. So yeah, you can make that argument, but our defense has won us these other games. I mean, they won the Rutgers game single-handedly for us. They did. Without that, we lose that game.
And in the Illinois game, although they did lose us the game, there was a moment where we needed them to get a turnover for us to win the game, and they did.
But without Buschini, do you win the Rutgers game?
No, would you pause on the Buschini talk? You're not going to convince me.
Buschini's not platinum.
Tony White's
platinum.
I will say also, what was the one thing going into the year that we wanted to see out of the defense? That it's not easy to do is force more turnovers. And here we are with a top 10 turnover margin in the country right now. So yes, whether you want to group that defense, we'll give to Tony White as the defensive coordinator. Okay, gold awards. We each get to nominate one. We already talked about Dylan Raiola a lot, but I will just go ahead and nominate him as a gold. I think that he at least deserves that, if not a little bit more, but he's getting my gold nominee. His stats, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, completing 67% of his passes, which has gone down the past couple of weeks. Obviously, his last game against Rutgers is probably his worst performance, but again, still in a winning outing. So, guys, we talk
really
about every week about how much he himself just saves our offense from just being a complete disaster again, like it was last year. There's still a lot more to come. There still needs to get more pieces around him. But like he's the real deal. We don't need to go on and on about him because we will continue to do that for the rest of this year and hopefully several more years to come.
My gold nomination is John Bullock. Surprisingly good linebacker. He was good last year, came back for his 6th year and leading the team in tackles, has a couple interceptions, forced fumble, a couple sacks. He's kind of doing it all, and he looks really good doing it. So I don't want to say he's our best defensive player because I think that it's one of those linemen, but he's definitely a top 3.
I would argue he's maybe have been as far as expectations before
If you're
the season.
against expectations, I would probably agree that he's our best.
I actually had him down as a potential platinum with some of the things that he's done for us on defense. He was not the one being talked about on the linebacker group in a group that we didn't really know what we were going to get out of him. And he's done well above that.
Yes.
33 tackles, 2 sacks in the year. He's had 3 to pass deflections, the pick 6 against Purdue. Like John Bullock deserves gold for sure.
Yep. Highest graded Big Ten defensive back last week or 2 weeks ago. Might have been 2 weeks ago.
Well, I had Raiola, so let's just move my silver one up just for argument. Let's do James White.
Yep. Stop.
What? What?
You not
James
understand
White.
how this works.
All right, we'll go Raiola.
No. Who was the person that you've been talking about to even give the one above that?
Okay, Buschini then.
There you
Okay,
go.
thank
My
you.
God.
Good God. I was like,
Argue him as a platinum, and you're like, you know what? This guy's not even
you
gold.
realize we have not talked about Buschini yet because I keep telling you to wait until you're ready to nominate him, and then you don't even nominate him.
All right, I nominate Brian Buschini.
Why?
Because he's a punter. He just won you. I think he won you that Rutgers game himself. Not fully himself, but he had a big part of it.
Can't argue with that.
I'm still just speechless that just happened.
He is the one shining light on an otherwise tumultuous dark team unit. He hasn't, and he hasn't been perfect. He's had some stinkers too. I mean,
that Purdue game he punted really well too. He put Purdue in terrible spots too, which he helps your defense a lot, putting the other teams back in their own field. So he helps that side of the ball a lot too.
The other thing to add is obviously his 4th down pass, and then the couple of tackles that he's made too on coverages. So I completely agree. You guys said it, most of it there. He's well deserving of a special teams unit that has struggled. So Buschini gold. Okay, silver. Austin, go ahead.
So here I did Ty Robinson. I don't think he's popped as much this year, but I think that's part of a lot of people are game planning around him a little bit more this year. But I definitely think he's worthy of a silver, adding that pressure on that front line that you like so much.
Dak?
I had James White here.
James White.
James
Williams. James Williams. James White.
Is that not his name?
James Williams. James White used to be a running back for the New England Patriots.
My bad. James Williams. Okay, he's a walk-on, and last game he completely dominated himself basically on defense. He's a walk-on guy. I feel like you guys didn't have high expectations for him coming to the year, and he's exceeded everybody's expectations.
Yeah.
So my silver's along a similar line of thought here is Sierra Wright, another guy that I'll be honest, I didn't even know who he was up until a few weeks ago. Stepping in for Tommy Hill, and now when Tommy Hill comes back here, like it's going to be interesting how this defensive back group sticks out. Again, silver awards going to guys that I did not expect to be where they're at and helping our team. All 3 of these guys being on the defensive end, which I think is very worthy considering where our team's been. So yeah, I agree. I also have another guy like that, like you had Dak and James Williams. Ty Robinson, I also had him as a silver. because he's been quiet, but the impact that he has on the defensive line, I shouldn't say he's been quiet. He's got like the most
He's still
sacks in
got,
the
like,
team and tackle. I mean,
yeah.
he's tackles for loss. Like he hasn't been quiet by any means.
He gets a lot of attention too, so he helps other
A
players.
lot of double teams opens a lot of things up. So Sierra Wright, and then we got to decide on one more here. I'm gonna throw this out there. Maybe you guys won't like it. Well, don't need to spend too much time debating it. I was gonna throw Matt Rule out there. As the head coach, doing a solid job. I think he's building the program in the right direction. I think it's worthy of giving him an award somewhere.
I like it.
I
Yes.
thought this was probably the appropriate place, right? Like
Yeah,
he continues to
done
manage
incredible.
everything.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, it's the best spot you've been in 10 years.
And you
Through
have to
6
manage
games.
a fan base, a media staff, all this, and then your players on top of that. He does a tremendous job every week of speaking the way the players need to hear it, in my mind.
Yep. And he recruited the class. He paid Tony White more money. I mean, he did everything right.
Yep.
Okay, bronze. 5 of them. Let's make them quick. Quick explanation. Dat, go first.
Well, I thought this was the bad category, so I'm just gonna roll with it. I did the kickers.
I'm not putting the kickers, doing that new one. Give me one of your silvers.
Let's go. Dodell. Just because we didn't expect him to be the starter. I wouldn't say he's been great. The first couple of games, I thought this guy's gonna be really good, but he's kind of fallen off the last couple of games. But no one expected him to be a starter, and he kind of became a clear start after the first 3 games. So I'll give it to him.
Austin.
I had Nayor. I think he's added that deep threat, and he's looked really good offensively.
Okay, I'm gonna do this because as one of my bronze, I had the Nayor Banks combo.
Yep, he was my other
two
guy
receivers.
too.
So
Yep.
we're gonna throw them into a category because those 2 additions at the receiving group, which kind of falls in the newcomers, but we'll make them like a combo group because I don't know. You could argue one's better than the other. I think
They're like the same player. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do it. Give it to our offensive line.
Whoa.
Been banged
Damn,
up.
that's what I was getting.
Got some injuries. They've done a pretty damn good job, though, guys, in pass protection specifically. Run blocking, I think there's some work to be done, but they're not being talked about like they have been in the past
They're not a problem.
3 to 5 years. Not a big issue. So I'm going to get to the offensive line. I think it's worthy of an award. Again, simply for the fact they're protecting Dylan when they need to.
I kind of agree. I had the same thought. I was going to be more specific, but
all right,
heard
more.
I had offensive line too.
Any other ones that you guys have for nominations? I got one specific one.
Barney.
I had just those 2.
Oh shoot, yeah, I had Barney up as a gold. Just, but I feel like we covered him too in the newcomers. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Here's the one that I want to throw out there too, because guys were 5-1. All these coaches need to get credit, and it's a guy that, again, has not been getting talked about. Marcus Satterfield.
Yeah.
How many of our offensive coordinators have gotten slammed for play calling, our system, our style? There's not much right now. I just feel like he's doing a solid job with Dylan, keeping the ball in his hands.
He's doing okay. I don't know if it's worthy of an award. Our offenses look pretty stagnant at times, but I'll allow it just for time's sake.
I thought he was the worst offensive coordinator coming into last year, so he can have any award now that he's kept his job.
Well, I'll say, and after last year,
he didn't look good, last year at all. And I wouldn't say he's had done a great job this year, but
do we want to give it to Ja'Cory Barney, an individual?
I'd rather give it to Barney.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Donnie probably doesn't deserve it.
Not from where I thought he could be.
He hasn't.
I don't have anybody else on my list.
In the press conference, you can tell Rule keeps bringing up Bedoni's name as like
he's just so slow.
we're not getting you involved in the game, but we like you sort of thing. Like, here, I'm talking about you, man. Like,
He's just
Yeah. All right. Award show over. We'll have a neat little graphic posted on social media at Glory Return on Twitter. Dak, you better get your picks in. You better go quick.
Okay.
We are coming off an 11-4 week from Dak and another lock hit. So Dak is hot. He's seeing the board. He texted me today that he loves some lines this week. Dak, hit him with us.
All right. Utah -4. They play Arizona State. South Carolina +21. They play Bama. Missouri -27.5. UMass. Here we go. OU +14.5. First lock of the year. I think last year I threw lock of the year every week. This is actually my lock of the year.
No, lock of the year. Okay.
Penn State +4.5 against USC. Florida +15.5 against Tennessee. Oregon +3 against Ohio State. LSU +3.5 against Ole Miss. Iowa State -3 against West Virginia. And Colorado +4.5 against K-State.
there you go. You had plenty
Only
of time.
did 10 this week, so there we go.
And
I
Austin,
love all those picks.
Survivor pick.
Besides the Colorado one, I'm not very confident.
should we parlay all of them together for you?
I love every single one besides that Colorado one. That's the one I'm like, I don't. Just the way Cardinals looked last couple weeks, I'm like,
Was that only
they're
10
kinda off the
picks?
roll. Yeah, I only did 10.
Nice. Cutting it down. Austin, survivor pick. You're the only one left.
All right.
Dak and I are out.
I thought this week was one of the easier ones. Missouri over UMass, Western Kentucky over UTEP, Notre Dame over Stanford, and Army over UAB.
Glad
Next
you
week
think it's easy.
Tough one. Next week will be a tough one.
Are out. All right. We will be back Sunday. Enjoy your big slate on Saturday. A lot of good games out there.
Go.
A lot of ranked versus ranked matchups. Dak's lock of the year. Of course, it comes with OU. Nebraska
I
basketball
actually
preview.
love that line.
You just love the line. Take a money line.
I do.
Against me.
No money line.
Don't believe in your
I'm
team.
giving you 14.
You don't. You only know 5 players on it. Don't believe in them. All right, go Big Red.
QBR.
Boomer Sooner. Fuck Texas.